Oof. I don't know if I like that. Let's find something a little more fun to listen to. Uh, uh, Here we go. All right. Here we go. How's everybody doing today? Hope everybody is having a great day, had a great weekend, had a great Monday. The things, one of these days I'm going to come up with an orientation for all the things on my desk that work and aren't in the way and do all the things that I want them to do. But until that day, I'm stuck with things where they are. Some of this is me. All right. Is that okay? Yes. I want to put my Stream Deck somewhere where it won't get splashed with paint, but where I can actually use it. You think I would do all this for the hour I'm sitting here before I start? Anyway, hi. Hi, hi. What are you doing today? Well, I didn't know because I never know. But what I'm going to do that I figured out at the last minute is I'm going to try my hand at painting an apple. Weird, right? So the apple I'm looking at, can I full screen this? I can't full screen this. There we go. I want to do this. I want to do we'll just start. I want to do the Apple logo. And there's others in here. I've got a couple of regular apples as well, which was the main purpose, but my other half was looking over my shoulder at me looking for reference pictures to find an apple design that I liked, or an apple that I just like the look of. And he saw the old 19 late 70s, mid 80s Apple logo from Apple Computers and thought that would be cute to do. So I agree. So to start with, as a icebreaker, I'll work on this Apple logo and try to just sketch one out and draw the lines in and then paint our watercolor rendition of those colors. And then we'll pick an apple and try to see if we can paint an actual semi 3D rendition of an apple and make it look somewhat real. It might not. We'll see. So let me add the Apple logo as an image so we can see it while I'm working. And then, and then, well, that's just a little too big. Where are my corners? Right there. Yeah, there we go. I will move that somewhere. I guess the most open spot I've got is going to be here. So maybe I can put it over here in the corner next to the paints. I'll scoot this over, and it'll be right there. And we'll start with this guy. And then I'll change that to our actual apple when we get to actually doing the apple. All right. Okay. So I've got that there on screen. I've got a big version of it in front of me, though. To be fair, I'd rather be able to see you guys. So I may move it so I can see chat. Yeah, it's a little better. Yeah, tiny bit better. Scoot this over. Yeah, that's good enough. All right. Oh my God, do I need a third monitor? Jesus. No, I do not. That's too much. Gosh, I don't really want to listen to video game music today. What's wrong with me? What could I listen to that won't make me barf? Uh, uh, Play some Persona music. That's always fun. All right. Well, I'm going to sit here and enjoy some coffee for a minute before I get started. Without actually having it in front of me to trace, I'm going to do the best I can. No promises. All right, let me scoot it over a little bit. If I put it over here in the corner, it's not so bad. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. Do, 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 do. Maybe I'll add the other apple. Do, 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 do. I like the look of this one. Bum, pepper. Bum, 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 bum. And I wonder if I'm going to try to get creative. Watch out. So you move this where I can see it. So I think I can add a chroma key of white, and it might make the background transparent. I just have to adjust it so that it doesn't take so much of it away. Okay. Eh, it's not too bad. Let's adjust it. Too much. Yeah, that'll work. All right. Let's get cracking. Uh, so the Apple computers logo. So that's going to be fun. Let's take a look at what that looks like. I'm really bad at sketching, so forgive me. This is going to suck ass. I'm going to try. I guess I don't need my computer mouse in the way over here anymore. Um, maybe you can do it sideways. No, that gets in the way. Okay. Dun, 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 dun. That's about half the width it probably should be. Erasing never works on this. We're just going to make it work. Nope, it needs to be way bigger than that. I already screwed it up. What's worse is I cannot erase this pencil. If I bear down hard, it gets worse. Yeah. We're doing great today, guys. This doesn't have to be perfect. I'm just fucking with it. I'm not going to sit here and fiddle with it and care. It's just for fun. That's. See, I told you I am not good at sketching. I can't draw a straight line when I want a straight line. I can't draw a curved line when I want a curved line. Oh my God, this doesn't look anything like it. Ladies and germs, that's hideous. Let's turn this around and pretend that didn't happen. See, this is why I actually trace things. Let me do this on some cheaper paper. Just a minute. There we go. I've been going for the good paper way too often and fast and loose with it recently. Let me switch to something a little cheaper. Wow, it's been a while since we've heard that terrible sound. Ah, there we go. All right. How many more sheets do I have of this one? We're going to pull new one of this. One more after this. Okay. We'll come back to the other ones, you know, if we feel like it. Okay, so if I were the Apple logo and I wanted to, you know, look good, how would I do it the most easily without turning on the printer and making the dog freak out? Hmm, I have an idea. BRB. All right, here's over here. Hmm. All right, let's try my iPad and see if I can see it through that. Google Apple. Go. Images. This one. Is my brightness all the way up? It is not. Can I view the image larger? Oh, this is the one where I got the one that I have on screen. Really? Okay, well, we're just going to do that. That'll work. Now, the question is, does this show up through the paper? Yes and no. I'm going to need to turn off my red light. Yeah, there we go. You can even see it on stream. Okay. Let me grab a mechanical pencil. That's not a mechanical pencil. That's not a mechanical pencil. That is a pen. That's a mechanical pencil. Ooh, I need to get some more lip for it. Should be some in there. Yeah. All right. Let's try it like this. Oh, wow, that's dangerous. I can accidentally pinch and zoom through the paper. How's that? That's fun. Right. Let's loosely sketch. No, don't do this quickly before I really screw things up. That is scuffed as hell. Okay. All right. Find my remote, turn the light back on. Here we are. That's a thing. Let's go ahead and close this up. All right. And bring that back over here. Grab my ruler. Using this Strathmore paper will be fine for this because I'm not going over it a bunch of times. I was doing like a bunch of washes and whatnot, or scrubbing on the paper. I'd probably need my Arches paper, but for this, I think it'll be fine. All right. That's not so bad. It's fairly close. It'll be recognizable when it's done. Sure. All right. Put a little one up. Keep the pencil out just in case I need it for round 2, if I do the round 2. All right. Let's get a decent sized brush. What we're going to do, spray down our palette. You'll notice I cleaned the middle part of my palette. Sorry. Had to happen sooner or later, and I made a reason for it to need to happen sooner. I, well, I'll show you. I was working under this in my off time. I was experimenting. Last stream, Krista K Arts, she suggested that with my granulating paint that I tried doing a combination of higher staining pigments mixed with highly granulating paint. So I did lunar black for almost all of the granulating paint test. And I did my 3 highest staining pigments and then some mediums to see how it would work when you actually mix them on the palette and then paint with them. And in the process, I left a lot of pre-mixed pigment in my wells that had lunar black mixed all throughout it. And that wasn't going to work well in the future for getting good semi-clean mixes for me. everything would end up looking like this if I did until it wears out. So I decided to go ahead and clean it off this one time. And maybe in the future, I will find a different method to mix like lunar black, lunar blue, but high staining, high granulating uh, paints. So I don't end up with a mix in my main well so much anyway. A little bit is fine. There she is. Hey, Krista, welcome in. Speaking of devil, so this is me doing what you suggested. I mixed in lunar black with some of my higher standing paints. This one is Pearl. I always get that wrong. Pearl Scarlet? No, that's not the one. Pearl Red. There we go. Pearl Red is lunar black. This one is Phthalo Blue. Oh no, I'm sorry. This one's Phthalo Green. This one's Phthalo Blue. Yeah, those are my highs on this chart. Yeah. Mixed with lunar black, and they did fairly nicely. You know, of course, it has to focus. There we go. And then I just kind of went off the rails. That's Moonglow, I think. I don't remember. I didn't write it down. This one was, I think, Hansa Yellow Light. No, that wouldn't have been Hansa Yellow Light. Was it Indian? Indian Yellow? Indian, yes. That was Indian Yellow. That one was Indian Yellow. And then that one was Transparent Pure Orange, I think. Which I actually really liked how that one came out. That one was pretty cool. It's really neat seeing the mix. Yeah, I do like it. It's actually really interesting because I get to see what it looks like underneath when the granulation all lumps together. And this is the color is what it leaves behind. The staining color remains behind. And so like I understand the purpose of it now, at least in part, and I really like it. I forget what that one was. I think that one was Quinn. No, what was that one? Because I didn't record it, I don't know. It could have been Quinn Magenta. That doesn't seem right. Quinn Rose is medium. I couldn't find Quinn Rose there. I don't remember. So I'm not gonna lie. I could have been Opera Pink. Did I do an Opera Pink one? Well, you know, I think I did. I think that might be actually, it's not totally not staining. I think I just did Opera Pink because it's pretty. And it actually worked out really well. Sure, it won't last forever, but who cares? I'm not doing forever. I'm doing for now. And then this was just me playing. It did all kinds of random stuff because I just was like, throw it all on the paper, do everything, do all the things. And I just did a bunch of shit. Opera Pink and Moonglow. That one was Opera Pink and something else. I don't think I did Lunar Black for all of them, but I think I did Lunar Blue for one. And I'll be damned if I remember what. I did a majority Lunar Black because I think I wanted to see what's a known very, very granulating paint to try to get some consistency in what the granulation effect looks like before I started experimenting with others, which I definitely want to do. This was very much an off the cuff, not streaming, playing around with just mixing stuff over the weekend just to see like playing around and doing stuff where I don't have anyone hanging over my shoulder. Right. So yeah. It was cool. I really did like the orange one. The orange was really nice. It has a nice like mountainy like stone, but it could also be like an animal's fur texture kind of thing. It was a really interesting look. I like that. But this was just to the side. And who knows, maybe we'll do that now. I don't know. Definitely Upper Pink. I don't think I did Moon Glow, but no, sure. I'm pretty sure that was for black. One of the ones in the middle, I did Moon Glow. And then I also did I also did Lunar Blue with one of them, but I added some green down below and it connected and it just bled into it. So I just let it because again, I wasn't caring. I was just doing it on the weekend for fun. Sand and Beach. Oh yeah. I can see that working. Now, there's one thing I did somewhere. It must be in a drawer. I don't see it around me, but there's one test I had done that looked great. It was, I think, Phthalo Blue and maybe Yellow Ochre. And they did like a great sand and beach color combination. So yeah, putting in maybe a tiny touch of lunar black, and some of it might add a really cool texture. I see that working. Let's play with this. I'm truly just going for fun today. I just, you know, the de-stress route. Clearly I'm not going to hit the colors of this. You can see I'm just kind of mimicking the Apple logo from the late 70s to late 80s. And I'm not going for exact color accuracy. I'm just going to go for a greenish color, a yellowish color, and go down as I go. And then just play with it. I'm just playing today. I have another apple over there as well because I might experiment with trying to do an apple because I've never done that. I did strawberries once. They came out okay. Obviously not realistic. And in front of me, you can't see it, but I have some gourds. I've got some pumpkin and some random gourds of random colors with shadows on them that I liked. So those. Maybe I'll get into a vegetable fruit era for a little bit and play around with that. Let's see. What kind of colors do we want? What is a more vibrant green and what is a darker green? I think that green Appetite Genuine is a nice shade. And sap green is quite pretty as well. Sap green might be a little better. And to make it, I don't have to make it light, but if I wanted it to be lighter, I could add, that would be that one. A tiny touch of yellow. It won't make it look neon green, but I might make it look lighter. Let's see. It's fine. How are you doing today? Are we doing all right? Having a good Monday? Phthalo and lemon yellow to give a bright green. That's true. I always forget about actually properly mixing. Let's try that too. So, 'cause maybe we can use this to add to it as well. Let's see. And there's yeah, that's nice. So still trying to get over the pneumonia. Oh no, I'm so sorry. That sucks. I'm getting over any congestive, like anything, just takes an absolute age to get over. I mean, like the nasal stuff already sucks and it takes a long time, but even when that goes away, like the tickle, the coughing just lingers forever. Like we had like an allergy of sorts, I guess. Like my other half got it worse, and I had it for like a day or two, and he's been going through it for weeks. It feels like it's just lasting. We're constantly clearing our throats. It's really obnoxious. All right, I have to take my glasses off or lift them up, get some water in here, and I'm gonna. Oh, you know what? It's an opportunity for me to use my in front of me light. Allergies how it started, yeah, right. It just begins with that, and once you get difficulty breathing and congested and all that, all the other really bad stuff just wants to pile in on top of it and make it worse. It's really disgusting. It's the only real negative about this season. Allergies suck so hard. All right. So grab some of our mix that we did down here. All right. Add a little bit of that sap cream. All right. We'll start filling in this top section that's also green. Dun, dun. Thankfully, I have never had pneumonia. I hope I never do. Clearly, illness isn't anything you want to wish on anyone, but of all the things to get, pneumonia sounds like one of the worst and super dangerous because if you're not strong, like you're, you could die from pneumonia, which is just crazy to think about. I hope you are doing well from it and recovering. All right. Grab some of our mix that we did. It. And a little of the sap green in some spots just to make it different. All right. All right. Next will be yellow. Let's dry this off so we can hit the layer. This is one reason why I don't like using this paper anymore. Without even having a lot of water on it, just putting heat on this made it warp a little bit. Like it's just a heat gun made the paper want to curl. So I'll just try to be really gentle with how much I use that. I'm not wanting to tape this down because it seems like a lot of work for just a fun thing. This is Strathmore, uh, 300 series, 400 series. So it should be a halfway decent paper, but it's just sometimes it doesn't play nice. There's a version above this they make, the 500 series, that I don't have, but honestly, I'd rather spend the money on arches because I know it's good. But that's fine. This is purely a scratch experiment. I'm not looking for sheer perfection from this one, so it's fine. So yellow. It looks like kind of a construction yellow, but I'll keep it a brighter yellow because the orange underneath it is pretty close to that construction kind of color. And you just say you're doing okay. You get it every couple of years or so. Oh, I get it. I would do Artos or Fabriano. I've never used Fabriano before, but I've seen it online. But yeah, Arches is what I've got. Seriously, I've got so much. I have, yeah, I have a decent amount. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's so much. Okay. The the A3 sized Arches is exactly the width of my drawers that I keep them in. So it's really hard to get them out. But just for fun, I have still sealed an A3. I have another one still sealed, just like it, that I just got in the mail not so long ago. And I have one partial one already open. This one I got 2 sheets left in it. So I've got a lot of the A3 and I've got 1 sheet left of the 9x12. Yeah, 9x12. So like I have enough to play with, but I don't want to use all of it at once, especially for playing around. Okay, I might need to keep these in this drawer just because of that, but we'll see. It's fine. It just makes it, it's hard. It's hard to get that in and out of there because of the plastic on the outside of the A3 size. Once it's off of there, it goes in great. It has just enough thickness to make it hard to fit into the drawer because of the screws that hold the slide rails on the side of the drawer. So yes, I had been wanting to change over to like almost exclusively Arches paper for everything, even testing, even though it feels like kind of wasteful. And I wanted to use my cheaper paper, Strathmore, and some of the other brands that I've got just for testing and like true scratch paper, I think you have a few pads of the 11x14. Yeah. Um, I like the larger size. So that's why I got the A3 size paper, which is, I always forget the measurement. It's like 13x17, I think. Uh, no, I just can't do math. It's 11.69 by 16.53. So A3, a European standard, A3 paper is that size. Um, I chose that because one, it's large, and two, I can readily find frames for A3 size paper online. So that works quite well. That's the ones that I have up above me. The recent Star Trek Voyager painting and the bookmark ones were on A3 paper, so they fit for me. They work for me really well. 11x14 would fit in that drawer just fine, and I would have a buffer, but I had to go and say, let's get A3 instead. Fabriano is a lot like it, but not as rough and doesn't smell as much. Does Arches smell? I never noticed a smell from it before. Smell. Oh, there is a kind of paper smell. It's like it smells kind of like a paper mill, but I never really thought about it. I just like my nose isn't as sensitive to sense unless it's like something very particular. Like I can handle bleach, but I can't handle ammonia. You know what I mean? Hmm, interesting. You know, I could probably use one of these. I have to clean it out. I kept it. These are dried up from my liquid watercolor inks. From doing some painting on it some time back, and I'm hesitant to clean these out so I can just wet them and reuse them. But at the same time, I might use this for mixing in, uh, like I did that test sheet over there, putting in litter black with other colors. I might reserve this for that so I can come back to it, reactivate it, and use ones that are pre-mixed. But I don't know. We'll see. I'll leave it over here for now. When it's wet, it's strong. Oh, when it gets wet, becomes more fragrant. I get it. Is that green brighter? It's more like a Viridian kind of thing. It is, uh, I have it here. Is it this one? I don't think it's this one. It's, it might have been a mix. That's not it. I think that is my only green in here. Yeah, I forget what this one was. I think it might have been a mixture of things. I just don't remember. Let me see. Yeah, I think that was a mixture of things. I don't remember what though. It was a while ago. Yeah, that's not one that I have in my watercolor ink. It is a mixture of some kind. Now I'm curious if this was from the watercolor inks. I think it was. I think it might have been a mix of things though to get to that. It's pretty though. It looks kind of like the phthalo green. Yeah, it's really close to the phthalo green color. But I think this was before I had the Daniel Smith paints. I'm not sure. I'll leave it out though. This actually would have been really good for, now that I look at it, this would have been really good for the top of that apple. It's almost exactly the same color. It's leaf green, aquafine. Focus, focus, focus. No, you're just not going to focus for me? It's nice of you. How about if I do this? I mean, mostly. Yeah, leaf green. It's fairly close. I mean, a little bit. This is watercolor. Yeah, it's watercolor ink. I only have one, I think only one acrylic. Really? You'll focus all the time, except when I want you to. There we go. That was hard to get. Yeah, watercolor ink. The only acrylic I have, I think this is yellow. It's watercolor ink. So that cadmium yellow hue. Uh, Liquid watercolor. This one's an indigo. Watercolor ink, phthalo blue. Very pretty. Watercolor ink, cad red. This one's acrylic. So I was wrong. This one's an acrylic ink. Let me get close and then pull it back. Nope. Still not gonna play nice. There we are. This one is an acrylic. Flame red. And I think watercolor ink. Watercolor ink. Watercolor is silver watercolor. I like that one. I don't have much of that one left. Another watercolor. This is Burnt Umber. I'm sorry, Cerulean Hue watercolor. Chinese White watercolor. And then the only other acrylic I have, just a white. Just a plain white. I use this one for doing stars and nebula and space stuff. Focus. There we are. Artist Loft. It's like generic craft store brand. Oh. I have the yellow and the FW. This brand. You have yellow and it smells really bad as well, does it? No. Well, I'm not going to go around huffing, huffing my paints, but yeah, I never really pay attention to the smell. I mean, to be fair, the last time I used these and every time I've used them, I was on the opposite side of the room by a window. But the window's not often open, so I can't use that as an excuse. I guess never really smells, or I don't use enough of it to smell it. Maybe. Now I'm curious. The next time I open this, I'm gonna like waft a little toward my nose. Waft. Waft. How do you say it? Right. That's actually really good to know that the that red was acrylic as well. But for what I was using it for, it worked for it. Using the mix of watercolor inks and acrylic inks worked really well on mineral paper. When you want to do flows with it, there's just something about it that makes them blend together really well. The acrylic one does in yellow. Oh, it stinks, does it? Ew. That's gross. I don't like that. I'm really thankful I mean, none of these have smelled enough that I've smelled them. You know what I mean? It is going on to listen. Oh, that's my other indigo, I think. Skip that over there, skip that over there. Yeah, mine. I have more indigo with Daniel Smith than I know what to do with. I've got 3 small tubes over there, plus 1 big one that I bought extra because I thought I was going to go through it. So I've got more indigo than I'm ever going to need. I use acrylic inks and I use Liquitex because it doesn't smell and is non-toxic. No kidding. Liquitex. Well, what do you do with your acrylic inks? Do you paint like with brushes? Do you dropper? Curious. I'm gonna look that brand up really quick. Liquitex. Liquitex. Acrylic. Yes. Acrylic. Yeah, I can spell. I promise I can spell. Ink. Oh, wow, they have a lot. Temu. Does say it's available on Temu. Blick. Here we go. That's more trustworthy. Liquitex Professional Acrylic Ink Set. Essential ink color set of 6, 30 milliliters. For $34.84 for this set. Of course, that's at Blick. They're not known for having great deals all the time, though it says it's on some sort of massive 37% off list price sale, which it might be. Ah, there we go. Oh yeah, it's all the primaries. Transparent. Oh, I can't read what the other one is. Yeah, I'll have to look at the listing to see what the actual colors are. But really, it's literally right there and you can't focus on it. I normally have such good focus on this camera, but it has been acting up. Oops. There we go. Damn. Yeah. I used to paint with acrylics, but I had to stop since I hurt my back too much to wash the brushes afterward. Jackson's can be a good place on prices. I've heard of Jackson's. Is it online only or actual store too? And wait, it hurt your back too much to wash the brushes? Like standing to wash them, or are you like beating them to death like Bob Ross did with his oil brushes? All right, hello. Are we just stuck on that now? Is that what we're going to be today? Seriously? Do you need letters to focus on? Does that make you happy? Oh my God, yes. Barf. That was annoying. um, you have to stand and wash them. My spine is pretty bad right now. I'm sorry. I mean, I know you don't want like I'm sorry's, but still, I can be apologetic about it sucking ass that you're hurt. Nobody deserves to be in pain. Well, no, we'll leave it alone. I get you though. Like standing to do some stuff, I don't pay attention and like my posture is bad. I'll be leaning forward slightly while I'm doing this thing for a long time. And then I'll step back from it and straighten up and my back will feel like on fire for a minute. For me, that's bad posture. It's purely my fault for not setting my stance properly when I'm going to be doing something like leaning over. I need to not be leaning over stuff. That's just me. I mean, that's my problem. Yellow. I'm sorry. I'm sitting here, not moving on. Let me wet this down. Actually, before I do that, I need to choose my yellow. Well, I used the uh Ansa yellow light here. I could probably stick with that. I'm happy to do that. I don't need much because I'm keeping it kind of smooth and transparent. Right? All right. Cups the edge of that. Cross. Yeah. I guess sometimes it's just about trying to find new ways to do the things you love that won't hurt you. I know that's incredibly difficult. Trying to come up with anything outside of the norm is a pain in the butt. Because if it was that easy to figure out what that thing was, other people would figure it out and find a way to market it, capitalize on it. But if there's any way to be able to do the things you love and you can find a better way to do it where it doesn't hurt you, I'll go for it. You know, you shouldn't have to suffer for doing the things that you love. I have a blown disc. Oh, and a bone fragment floating around. Someone karate chop you in your spine? How did that happen? How do you get a bone fragment? Oh, I guess just friction, right? Oh, I think of the disc being blown would cause that, right? Because they'd impact and grind on each other. Oh. My cervical spine is bulging inward with a lot of scar tissue and arthritis. Oh no. I think without like, I mean, I don't want to say go have spine surgery because that's terrifying to consider, but can they do like artificial discs and stuff? I think I've heard of. I don't know. Oh, that's what you're waiting on right now? Ah, like, do you have to be a candidate for it or you're waiting on like a doctor to find out? Like, is it an option? Is it affordable? Is it allowed? I'm sure there's a lot of questions and I'm being very nosy. I'm sorry. I hope you're able to get the work that you need and that one, that you can do it, two, that it solves your problems and that your recovery is good from it. Let's grab a little Indian yellow. I'm just going to add some because it's a slightly off color. And I don't want just a pure, plain, you know, pure yellow color, just to mix it up a little bit. Yeah, it's good. Right? Get out of corner. All right. It's very wet up on that one side right there. All right. Seems to take forever here to get into a dock. My other half would agree with you that it's a pain getting a doctor's appointment with your general general practitioner is a real pain in the back. Eh? It's okay. Steve Jobs can't come after you anymore. No, he cannot. He's gonna have to deal with it. Let's try this off. It is almost an orangey kind of yellow. I wonder if I can add a touch to what I was going to do next. This new gamboge. Add just a little bit of it in some spots and orange it up a tiny little bit. Whoops. Oh, that's okay. I'm going to be covering it with orange anyway. All right. Yeah. Steve. Oh, Steve. Let's try this off. Frisky. Hey, welcome in. Bright orange is opera pink with lemon yellow or even quin pink. Interesting. Let's try that. I don't have lemon yellow, but the closest thing I've got to it is Hansa yellow light. So let's look at that. They just happen to be right next to each other. How you doing today, Frisky? For pink, I'll start low because I don't want to overdo it. And it's a nice little light orange color. Yeah, I know, that's actually really nice. All right, let's do that. But I think I need to do a little more of it though, because I didn't grab a lot. Uh, Not too bad. How are you? I'm doing all right. I'm here. It's Monday. I can't complain a whole lot. Is that really the default image for that? I have to see. That's literally the Twitch "Hey guys" emote. Is that lady? Who is this lady? I'm so curious. Globals. Yeah, it's a global emote for Twitch. That is wild. Honestly, I have no idea. It's cute. I mean, it's just funny, whatever it is. It'd be funnier if she had like a derp face or something going on. Hey guys. All right. Don't mind me. More aqua pink. Okay. Let's wet this section down. I am, fortunately or unfortunately, using a cheaper Strathmore paper for this, so it curls and buckles really badly if you don't tape it down or wet it down enough. But that's okay. I'm not going for perfection for this. I'm just having fun doing a random late 70s, mid 80s, that yellow bleeds, um, Apple logo. All right, let's get some of this in there so we can start merging this up a little more. I think we'll start with this because it's a nice kind of pale orange, and then we'll work our way up. Pale, bright. It's probably brighter if I have it on dry, but because I'm doing it on water, it spreads it out pretty thin. Okay, man. I need to drink some more coffee. I'll do that in a second. And yes, I have another apple on my screen over there. In addition, I'm considering trying my hand at an apple. Maybe not today. We'll see. You can always spray the back later. That's true. Or iron it. Yeah. Do that. Is that wet right there and bleeding into it? It is. I didn't dry it enough. And it bled into it. Well, you know what? It is what it is. Uh, let's try to pull some of it back at least. Compose it up a little bit. Like, bro, you gotta stop this. What did I get? Yeah, I don't like it. All right, then. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna go a little crazy. Without really going crazy. We're gonna try this completely, which is what I should have done in the first freaking place. Man, a party like it's 1999. Wow. Where were you in 1999? I was a sophomore in high school, I think. A 1899, 9 to 20. Yes. I was in Georgia, the state, not the country. Is this going to be a good thing or a bad thing? I don't know. We're going to find out together. Because this paper is not the best. It buckles under the best of circumstances. And if this doesn't do well, we're going to move on to something else. We're going to see. Yeah, all this paper does later after it was dry. Oh, I get you. Well, this is a stupid idea. This is, sometimes I just run with stupid things I misunderstand, and that's gonna happen. And I don't always do things smartly. It'll be all right. Yeah, that would have been better. Well, I could do both. Uh, I'll tell you what. Eh, let's see how much is not gonna tape. I appreciate that. Uh, yeah, I love that you even tried different ways to adjust your work as things are happening. It's really awesome to watch your process. I mean, it's like watching a slow moving train wreck. Yes, it is. Okay, let's see if we can error correct a little tiny bit. Can tape this down, and we're taping it down not to get borders. We're taping it down to keep the damn thing in place. Let's see. I have the mixed media paper, but never tried their watercolor paper. It's a thing, I tell you. See, everything I've done with Strathmore paper has been like this: tape down the whole thing before I wet edge to edge, and then it normally stays in place fairly well. A lot of the stuff I've got up here when I started was on Strathmore paper, and it works. But you have to treat it right. You have to use it right. And when I do stupid things, I uh well, things fail like this. Good news, this isn't something I care about deeply. This was from the beginning, just screwing around. So I don't care that it's not perfect, but now it's held down. So that's better than the buckling that it was doing. You bet that's going to tear bad? You think so? Oh, because it's wet? Well, what I can probably do, well, to start, is I won't pull the tape off if it's wet. So that means not pulling it off today. We can see next time how it comes off. And if it does tear, I don't mind. If anything, I can cut this out if I keep it at all. This is truly just throwing stuff on paper. I don't care if it's good today. Cut it. Yeah, cutting it is probably going to be a lot better plan, I think. All right. Well, now that that's done, uh, let's get a more orangey orange going on here. I have Aussie red gold, which I really like. Let me get some of that. And mix that in with this. And let's layer it on top or glaze it on top. And we'll try to fix this with a different shade of orange on top. And it should darken it to an orange that we like and make it look separate from the yellow above it. I'm going way outside the lines because I'm on the left side looking to the right. It's okay. The end. Yeah, I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but you ever have those days where nothing seems like it's going right when you're doing something particular and you just get really frustrated with it and want to throw the towel? That is the opposite of how I should be feeling when I'm watercoloring. The whole point of this was for me to use it to de-stress, and instead I found a new way to stress myself. A little bit. That's not terribly stressing. It's just a little bit. This is my de-stress thing. All right. That definitely made that more orange, so I appreciate that. Days, that's the story of my life. Yeah. I think that might be the story of being an artist sometimes. Thank you guys so much. I'm telling you, like, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like some of it is me. A lot of it is me and being unhappy with like how I'm doing a thing. Um yeah, I think just gonna set my brush down and sit here and let this dry and figure out what red I'm gonna do and talk. Um yeah, when I first started doing this and it was fresh and new, and it's still new, it's just not fresh anymore. But when I first started doing this, every little thing was different and exciting and fun. And now when I'm trying to do even the slightest thing more technical ever, or I'm just having a not great day and things go south, I just feel like I beat myself up about it more and I shouldn't because the point is to have fun with it. It's so weird. I don't know why I feel like I have the need to beat myself up over things, but sometimes I just do. It's really, really wild. And I don't want to do that because dang it, I'm streaming this stuff and I'm supposed to be having a slightly better attitude about things. And I'll be damned if I get on here or get pissy about something and I sound like an absolute asshole and I don't want to do that. It's the antithesis of streaming online and people being interested in watching what you do. It's the total opposite attitude. Paper makes a huge difference in watercolor. Don't beat yourself up. It's true. Seriously, I should have committed. Like I started with Archins and I tried foolishly freehanding this. And let me tell you, it did not freehand well. And using a regular pencil was another mistake because the eraser on this does that when you try to erase. It smears like crazy. It doesn't actually erase on this kind of paper, but I try it and I forget, and then I do it and it does that. And we've got, I think, I mean, I can try it. I've got, is it over here? Uh, yes, this stuff that is wet. So I need to move that before I set this down. Let me grab this really quick and scoot him over for a minute. So we've got this stuff. We've got this Faber-Castell kneadable eraser, kneadable art eraser, and it usually does work really well. But I haven't used a lot of it, so I need to take it out. Oh my god, there's so much of it to use it carefully. And maybe I can undo some of this. I don't know. A kneading eraser should be better than a pencil eraser at least. Yeah. I don't know if it'll undo the damage I caused, but it should get rid of, yeah. See, it gets rid of the pencil lines that I did originally. I don't know how well it's going to do at getting this up, but we'll see. Maybe with repetition. No, I think I needed the ugly pencil eraser gunk into it. So that's there, but I could paint over it or put white acrylic on it or a white gel pen or something. That'll probably be fine. And I just need to keep this out handy because it is the better eraser. It's just the better eraser. But I will keep that on there and maybe I'll do something with it. Let me see if I can close this over that now that I've formed it into a ball. There we go. So yeah, I'll do something with this sometime, somehow, somewhere. Maybe I'll turn it into a nebula or something and I can cover that whole sketch outlined with something that will make it never see the light of day again. All right. Yeah. Let's try this off. It's kind of funny. One of the things I wanted to do when I first thought about painting, was doing computer things in Paint, and somewhere tucked into my gigantic stack of pre previous paintings and test stuff, we got a couple things that I did do. I did like a little computer screen. I did. I tried to paint this computer mouse, my main computer mouse, just a Logitech thing, and that came out kind of cute. But I want to do more computery things. I've wanted to try doing, some of the known like Windows backgrounds, background wallpapers, like the Windows XP Bliss, the pretty field with the blue sky and the clouds. I want to do the old Windows 95 clouds one that's literally just clouds. Um, some of the more modern ones with like the Windows logo and like the light shining through it, misty. Like there's a bunch of scenes from computers that seem interesting. But I can do the Apple logo. I can do Tux the Penguin from Linux. Like, it's all kinds of little side things I could do. Just a tip, once you get a pencil wet, you cannot erase it from the paper. Really? I believe that. I actually just saw someone, I've talked about them before, but on Spilled Ink. They had a guest on last Friday. So their last video, who's a watercolorist, a traveling watercolorist in Japan and other places. And she uses I don't want to say it's necessarily a colored pencil, but it's like a brown or burnt sienna kind of colored leaded pencil. And she does her sketches lightly with that, and she just leaves it on the paper. She doesn't try to erase it. And she said the reason she does that is because it doesn't show up like standard pencil lead does after you paint, because she tends to paint very light or transparent. And all it ends up doing at the end is it adds to some of the outlining and the shadows, the little bit that you can see that's behind. So it's such a neat idea. I had someone go to a field that looked just like the old Windows background. They sent me a pic. It was wild. I love that idea. I once took a pic of an old screen that broke at the old job because I wanted to paint it. See, it's such a neat idea, right? Like the the thought that used to, I guess still sort of, but not really, but the thought that used to go into the old operating system user interfaces was so thoughtful. It felt bland, but people put a lot of thought and intent into it back then. And today it's literally just a coat of paint on top of what came before, and they're not trying anything. It feels like they changed the function of everything, but they're not changing the look a whole lot. And I guess that's because people are used to it. I don't know. It's just, it feels weird. Some people also use watercolor pencils. That makes a lot of sense because it's built to activate and kind of blend away, but some of it stays behind, I think, depending on the quality of the watercolor pencil. But that's a good idea. It's better than a colored pencil that will stay behind exactly the same. That's actually a really good idea. Is getting maybe there's a set of like skin tone watercolor pencils or something that are of a good quality. So you have a couple shades of brown, fleshy, just light, faint colors. That seems like a good idea. Ah, man. What red am I going to use? Um, it's such a vibrant red. Let me blow it up bigger so I can see it on my end. I've got another screen over here. It doesn't look like a pure red. It looks, if I had to pick any of the colors I've got, it looks kind of like that pure scarlet that I have. This one here. I think it might be closest to that one. So I may just use that one and just add to it, enhance. It has more coffee. I agree with the scarlet. That's what I was thinking. Rock on. I've been talking about doing this and I haven't done it. I want to take a picture or scan my swatch that I did of my entire palette and maybe more more darkly, more firmly write in the names of them and post it under the stream in my about information and one of the cards so that you guys can see my entire palette and you can make suggestions off of my exact list. Alternatively, I have, um, how can I show this? I've got, where's my download folder? This one. And, oh, fudge. This one? No. This one? No. This one. Mm, this- Any day now. Yeah, this one. I have this that I made. Okay, come on. Full screen. Uh-huh. 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 This. I made this spreadsheet. It's got all of the pigments that I use and their information, like the pigment name, the color temperature. I actually hid that column when I printed it, but it's there. Um, lab results, and then transparency, staining, granulation, and light fastness rating. And I have it all printed on a sheet in front of me, so I could technically just make this publicly available so you can download it or screen cap it in an image and share it below the stream. That might work. Oh, wow, I love the organization. Yeah. Yeah. It's a blessing and a curse. And it's a good and a bad thing. Uh, yeah, I'll absolutely, though, make it available. I have the Faber-Castell Pro line as well as the, oh, that's a brand I don't know, Corn Dash? Oh, Frisky said, good to know I had only okay, wait, no, I'm going too far. Faber-Castell Gold Fiber. These names is a good cheap watercolor pencil option that dissolves well as long as you don't push hard. That's good to know. I only had cheap watercolor pencils before that did not behave as anticipated. Us too. We made the foolish mistake of seeing some at like literally fudge. What was it? It was like a Marshalls, like TJ Maxx, one of those kind of things on end cap. Clearly, it was going to be garbage, but we got it and it was garbage. It did not work well at all. But I'd be interested. Can make the cells larger, make a watercolor chart. Yeah, I think it's very flexible. What I did is I showed it before. Let me open up my Discord. I literally just made a few adjustments and printed it basically as is. Where's my Discord? It is right there. And this one, and then bring it over here. Oh, and this one. Yeah, so I did that. The chart you see on the right here is that one you saw in Excel. I just cleaned it up a little bit and printed it full page. It came out great for me. And I've got like a expanded description of the legend of what everything means. So I've got it next to it. Yeah, so you can see what it looks like. I have this right in front of me. Super nice to have. And then like the descriptions of everything. Is there anything else in here? Oh yeah, that's my whole setup. Yeah. Yeah. I got my whole little geeky setup in front of me. I thought about making the cells larger. My idea for the swatch that was on there, it's color accurate as far as so it's got the exact color information converted to hexadecimal from those LAB results. And so it's like technically correct, but isn't correct for the materials once you actually paint them, right? Like it's going to be damn close, but it's not perfect. The purpose wasn't to be perfect with it, but enough to be ballpark. You know what I mean? In addition to that, I'm printing it from a color laser printer, and the color laser printer is great at printing office stuff, pie charts, things that need a pop of color. not good for printing anything photorealistic and very, very not good at representing real color spectrum. You know what I mean? So it's there just for the look. It's close enough that I can use it to go off of, right? But it's not great. Like I wouldn't want to trust making the swatch bigger for my own use. But for others, I think that's a good idea. I can share it and a picture of my actual swatch that was on the wall there, and just put both there. And people can see all the information about it, and you all will know more and learn more about that than I know. So, wow, it's amazing. I had no idea I was going to take this long on this one thing. Let me go ahead and get that red down. We can get that drying. Yeah, I think that Pyrrole Scarlet. It is Pyrrole, right? Or is it Pyrrole? Pyrrole like Hyrule. I feel like I remember having this conversation with Crystal. Crystal? No. Krista. God, my brain. Don't give me anything important to manage. I'm just kidding. Don't. If work hears that, never mind. I'm just kidding. At the end of the day, I can get the job done and I do it, I think, fairly competently, but I think there's clear room for improvement. And well, there's a lot of people out there that are perfect and charismatic and all that, and they know everything and retain everything, and they know the perfect correct answer about everything they've ever read about their subject matter, and they are the experts. And people try to call me that sometimes, and I'm just like, imposter syndrome, imposter syndrome. You can't be talking about me all the time. I hear people say it more Pyrrole. Yeah, Pyrrole. Like I was thinking, my comparison was Pyrrole, like Hyrule. Hyrule is the land in the video game series The Legend of Zelda. So Hyrule, Hyrule, Hyrule. So it's Pyrrole, like Hyrule, or is it Pyrrole? Pyrrole, Pyrrole, Hyrule. I'd like it could be anywhere in there. I need a scientist to say it. You know. All right. We're looking at Pyrrole. Pyrrole. I'm just gonna use this one right from the well. God, this paper buckles so much. I hate it. And I hate that I hate it because it's making me feel bougie for something I don't have the skill for. But man, the material makes a difference. Not always, but damn, in this case, woof. It's not a go light and wet technique paper. No, it is not. It most definitely is not. Me crazy. Some of this is my fault because I wet the bottom of the paper and it's like freaking out. So can't entirely blame the paper. All right. Let's try to dry this. You kidding me? Yeah, that was puddled up so much it was not going to dry. Um, have you guys seen, there is, what purple are we going to do? I think I might go Imperial Purple because I love that color. Have you guys seen, let me make sure, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's this one. Have you guys seen, I'm sure it's in many places, but I've seen on Instagram, this, I'm sure there's a ton of brands, but it's a sketchbook, I'm sorry, made up of watercolor paper, but it's 600 GSM. I don't know what that is in pound, but it is ridiculously thick paper, and it's a sketchbook. So I said 44 pages, so it's probably 22 sheets of paper, front and back, 44. But the pages were ridiculously thick paper. So like super thick cardstock style. And the purpose of it was for taking out and sketching and painting out in the world and not having to worry about the paper buckling or anything. Uh, so that when you close the book, it still behaves like a book instead of being double the thickness because the pages are all, cattywampus, right? I think the idea of that is neat. I think it was expensive though. I think it was like $40 or something crazy, which is great if you've got skill and you're trying to get into something beautiful that you're gonna like scan and sell as like, I don't know what, postcards. I don't know. I don't know what. It's a neat idea, but you got to be good at what you do to be able to utilize that. It's too expensive to just waste on, sketching. And I see people that make their own sketchbooks, which I think is just what a skill. Making books, even reusing book bindings and then making your own. It's crazy. Crazy talk. Crazy, I say. I would not be surprised at cost for fancy paper. Yeah. And it was already completely sold. Like when I went and checked it out, I went to the page to see, and they're like, every version of it totally sold out. They're like, we have another batch being made in March. I'm like, okay, well, sign me up for your newsletter so I can see, but there's no guarantee I'm going to even consider getting it because I'm not at a level where I can afford to play on something so expensive. Like I say, as I use typically Arches paper for scrap paper sometimes, which may very well be what the one over there with the apple turns into is just scrap paper. But oh, getting tired. Okay. All right. We've got ourselves a cup, a couple. And Imperial Purple is one of my granulating ones, so it's going to separate as it dries, but that's fine. Just dry it off. Mm, you- Well, that's a good idea. It's such a pretty purple. Love that. Yeah, cut it and make like 5x7s out of it. Yeah. I think, yeah, I could probably cut it in half, partially in half this way, and get at least three undamaged ones. And this last one is just going to be a screw it, let's play around with that quadrant. Yeah, I think that'll be fine. Yeah, that purple always looks really nice on garbage paper, but hey, it still looks pretty. Right. A blue, huh? That blue, in particular, that blue. I mean, I'll have a damn thing that looks like that. I think I could probably go with a cobalt blue. It's a little bit closer to the color of the blue and the tape than anything, but that might be the best option. Go ahead and get that done. And I can finish up for the day. Cerulean or cobalt turquoise? Yeah. Cerulean, I have, well, I do have just one. Yeah, I've got a cerulean blue chromium. That can work. It's not that color blue, but it's a pretty blue. Let's see. Then maybe for Thursday, we'll work on that actual apple. Work on actually painting one. Because one thing I've been wanting to learn and like get the technical skill for is learning how to do underpainting. Because I've never done that. And I saw a really great video showing using underpainting to paint an apple. And that gave me the idea for today. I foolishly thought that this was going to be quick because the idea was to do a smaller version of this on the arches paper and then do an apple next to it or to the corner of it or something. But yeah, I want to do like a bluish tone for like the shadow part and do a very light underpainting of that and maybe a little darker where it's the darkest part of the shadow. And then do a nice yellow for the upper, the non-highlight, like non-shiny bright light reflection part of the apple. Very faint of that, and brighter in some spots, and have them kind of meet the shadow part, and then let it dry, and then and then start working on like some reds and maybe light greens and browns of the apple on top of it. I can tell I'm getting tired. I'm getting sloppier. Again, I ask myself, why do I paint and stream after getting off work? Like, I already get up at 6:15 in the morning is when my alarm is set for, and I work at 7 to 3 Pacific. And I do all that. I do my work. I get off at 3. I chillax for a little bit before streaming. And then I do 2 hours of this and I am wore out, just dead by the time I'm done. So why do I do this to myself? I don't know. All right. Good enough. Let's dry this off before it puddled up. Need a cat nap beforehand. I thought about that. I usually do. I'm so bad about it. Like sometimes I'll cat nap and then I wake up and I'm like overslept. And then I'm kind of wired for a little while. And then if I don't sleep, I am and I'm tired, I'm good for a little bit, like I'll have some coffee, and then I get I'm not having coffee like 3 hours or so before going to bed, and I start just dropping. Like if we're watching something where I'm not really active or stimulated, I just drop like a fly. It's crazy. Yeah, that turned out to be a pretty blue. I know for me, I found streaming helps me almost with accountability for the art, but I haven't been doing the day job routine lately. I get you. The accountability is for damn sure why I do this at all. And then recently I've just been so tired and just mentally drained and mentally just don't care that I'm missing days now. And I shouldn't do that. Like even if I feel like not painting for a stream and I don't come online, I should at least paint that day just to keep up appearances, I guess, for myself. I think I want to fix this green. It's too pale for comparison to the rest of it. The rest of it seems fairly all right. What can I add to that? Let's see. We've got sap green might be too dark. I think we have to just make a new mix again and just hit it harder. Let's see. Should be fine. I swear most men fall asleep even standing. That's such a shame. I hate that that feels like it needs to be like all men. I just, I don't know. I just burn energy differently or something. I don't know. It's different. That's way too sick. You know, the place I fall asleep the most in the car when I'm driving. Hey, no, seriously, like in the car, like you want to put me to sleep because I'm not feeling good or I need the rest, just to rest my brain from stress. Car, like a long car trip will knock me out. Yeah. I think the real reason that I get really tired at the end of the day is not just because I've been working all day. I think it's more because I've been drinking coffee all day. And when I take a break from the coffee for any length of time, I get the, the crash, the post caffeine crash, because the coffee doesn't directly wake me up anymore because I have it so much. I think it's at the point now where I have it so much that all it does really is make me even keel. And when I don't have it, I crash hard. So what I probably need to do, as disgusting as it sounds to me, is go on a coffee hiatus for a bit. I know my other half would probably be looking at me cross-eyed right now, like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" Because I would never hold to it for very long. But not having coffee for a bit would probably be very healthy, and just drink water or something. I just kind of go anti-caffeine for a little bit just to have a rest from it. And that would probably do me a world of good and help even me out caffeine wise. Yeah. That definitely brightened up that green a lot more. It needed something. I still have to dry it, but that's definitely better than it was. My husband and his twin can't drive far because they want to fall asleep. Maybe just cut back a little. Yeah, I drink. I know you're gonna be like, oh, you drink way too much. But if I really sit here and think about it, I'll have 1 cup of coffee when I get up, like once I sit down for work at 7. And then maybe half an hour to an hour later, I'll have a second cup. And then I'll be good for like an hour or two. And then I'll refill. And then maybe refill 1 or 2 more times while I'm working. So maybe 5 cups in a day, 5 cups this size. And I do dark roast too. So for caffeine, dark roast has less caffeine than a light roast because light roast and medium roast gives me heartburn really bad, but dark roast I can handle. So it's not like light roast is 100% and dark roast is 70. Like I don't know what the percentages of caffeine are. I just know dark roast has less caffeine in it because as it roasts more, the caffeine kind of burns away. Um, but also so does the stuff that makes me have bad heartburn. So yeah, I can cut back on it. Um, maybe just have my one when I get up in the morning and then don't have anything for a couple hours and then have another. Or do what I should do, have my cup of coffee and then have like a full complete glass of water in between before I'm allowed to have coffee again. Because also I'm probably dehydrating myself as well. Right? Heading back to the earthing culture, I think it's true for anything, but especially something that my body's become semi-dependent on. I'd probably have a massive migraine if I tried cutting it out completely. I would intersperse the water in between. Actually, yeah, that's a good idea. I mean, especially being diabetic, it'd be a damn good idea to have more water anyway, just to thin out everything I eat and drink. Let's try this off. The water will help the cutting back. I think so too. Maybe. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I'm glad I did that second layer of green on there. It needed that badly. But yeah, no, that's good. Now I'm curious what a all granulating mix would look like. I can't do all of it because I don't have a red, but I could fake it. Again, because this is practice. If I just threw it together really quick, I could do here. I could probably do sap green, sap green, right? I didn't do anything there. Sap green. And then for a yellow, I could do yellow ochre. Because I don't have any granulating pure yellows. I don't know that that even exists, so it wouldn't make sense. And then for orange, I could do a brown oxide, maybe. And then I could do transparent red oxide for the red, because I don't have a red granulating. Uh, I wrote bowl. I've got lots of options. I even used one, but we'll do a different one. Cobalt blue violet. Of course, I touched it, and so it's blending with the red. That's fine. I'm just doing bullshit on top of fun. Oh, and then cerulean blue chromium. You know, not all the same colors, but I mean, as close as I could probably get with what I've got without mixing. White background is good too. Yeah. All right. I think I'm done for the day. Try that off just because. Right. Well, I'll let that dry the rest of the layout's on. And probably what I'll do when it's all totally dry is I'll just cut this out, the whole apple, just cut it out completely, and just have it to the side or whatever, just for fun. But yeah, this paper suck ass. It's so garbage. I hate it. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna head on out, guys. Thank you so much. I absolutely appreciate y'all for being here. Sorry it wasn't anything more exciting, but I'm glad that you enjoyed it. But yeah, you guys have a absolute great rest of your day, rest of your week between now and Thursday when I hope to see you back. What I'm going to do then, I don't know. I'm going to do one or two things though. I'll hammer it out now. I'm either going to work on the real Apple or I'm going to play a game. So we'll probably play on work on the Apple. Depends on how I feel that day, but I'll do one of the two things. I'll be here, but I'll either work on painting or trying to paint an apple, or I'll play some sort of game. If I'm not feeling like painting, I'll at least show up and do something. All right, guys, have a great rest of your day. And that's it. My name is Bear. I've been barely watercoloring, and I'm out of here. Bye, guys. Bye. Bye.